the dog and the dog legend in ancient Babylonia. Strangely enough, the dog was classified by the Babylonians as a monster animal and one to be despised and avoided. I believe it's worth noting that the molesser of this region no longer shares DNA with the wolf, which must have gave it its more loyal and protective qualities. They were used during battle when the Babylonians went off to war. The dog breed Molossus was left with their family to guard and protect them. This may be Persian propaganda under the guise of the Babylonian tongue. In a prayer against evil powers, we read, "From the dog, the snake, the scorpion, the reptile, and whatever is baleful, Marduk, preserve us." We find that although the Babylonians possessed an excellent breed of dog, they were not fond of depicting them, either in painting or bas-relief. Dogs are seen illustrated in a bas-relief of Ashurbanipal, and 5 clay figures of dogs, now in the British Museum, represent hounds which belonged to that monarch. The names of these animals are very amusing, but in Sumerian they are not. In fact, the names produce a small piece of text, which we will look at the end of the video, in order to see if there is any correlation between my translations and the Hounds of Marduk. The names of these animals are very amusing, and appear to indicate that those who bestowed them must have suffered from a complete lack of the humorous sense, or else has been blessed with an overflow of it. Translated, these names are, but the Babylonian script was bilingual with Sumerian. There are 2 tales, one for the scribe and one for the people. These names are for the people, and the Sumerian will be brought to light soon enough. The Babylonian version of the names are: he ran and barked, the producer of mischief, the biter of his foes, the judge of his companions, and the seizer of the enemies. How well these names would fit certain dogs we have all known or have known. Here is good evidence from the buried centuries that dog nature, like human nature, has not changed its wit. But why should the dog, a fellow hunter with early man, and the companion of civilized humanity, have been regarded as evil? My mentor, Professor Seuss, considers that the 4 dogs of Merodach were not always on errands of mercy, and originally they had been the devastating winds. The 7 evil winds of the Mace of Marduk, used to defeat Tiamat, who is unreachable and unkillable in the same myth. Shah-Ur held the will of Enlil, Lord Wind. In Babylon, the demon Pazuzu was the king of the winds. The demon of the southwest wind would be Arabia, which I call the untouched region. It would appear that the dogs have been demonized, probably due to the work of Nabonidus, the last Babylonian king, who re-instigated the worship of Lord Zu, Sin, and who left Babylonian wide open for the Persians, almost as if it was handed over rather than conquered. The dog legend. The fragment of a legend exists, which does not exhibit the dog in any favorable light. Once there was a shepherd, protected by dogs, so they created propaganda to take the dog away. Sorry. Once there was a shepherd who was tormented by the constant assault of dogs upon his flock. He prayed to Ea for protection, and the great god of wisdom, Zu, Sin, sent his son Merodach to reassure the shepherd. Ea has heard thee, said Merodach, when the great dogs assault thee. Then, O shepherd, seize them from behind and lay them down. Hold them and overcome them. Strike their heads, pierce their breasts. They are gone, never may they return. With the wind may they go, with the storm above it. Take their road and cut off their going. Seize their mouths, seize their mouths, seize their weapons, seize their teeth, and make them ascend. By the command of Ea, the Lord of Wisdom, by the command of Merodach, the Lord of Revelation. But what do the names mean in Sumerian? Ukumu, to be destroyed by the roar and the oath of exorcism. Akkulu, we will consume the people in our foundation, to frighten and disturb mankind, to cause trouble. Ixuda, the all-seeing eye is everlasting, the remote distant one, Pazuzu, who prolongs the gnashing of teeth, and the cries and screams within the offspring of the deep. Iltehu will be delivered in frightful fear to the vulture god. Anzu, the divine storm bird, the protective demon, a curse upon the tablet, Anzu also meaning eagle or vulture. I ask you, what is a storm, and what is an eagle without its wind?